Welcome, folks. I am Jaby Koay, joined by the lovely Megan Lay, aka Melee. And so we're looking at Honest Trailers MULAN from Screen Junkies. And just for some fun background, for those of you that don't know, Megan is an actress and a stunt woman, mostly actress, sometimes stunt woman. You've done a lot of stunts, though.
I have.
Yeah, and she's a martial artist and a dancer, so she has a lot of wherewithal, a lot of background, large profile to speak from with regards to criticizing the crap out of MULAN. But you liked it a little bit.
I was entertained.
You watched it twice.
Show. I did watch it twice. 2 days in a row.
2 days in a row.
And I actually liked it better the second time.
Because some people like to torture themselves. So here we go. Honest Trailers.
His words, not mine. I feel like we're in a theater.
Based on the Chinese legend that already inspired a beloved animated feature, comes Disney's all-new reimagining of premium VOD pricing strategies to service an evolving consumer dynamic. MULAN. Remember Mulan? The girl who used her wits and determination to grow strong and save an empire? Forget her and meet this natural-born killer.
What a killer!
Who's just waiting for an excuse to kick something sharp through your chest. Oh, and while we're at it, you may as well forget all those songs you loved. And your first animated crush. And the funniest Disney sidekick since the genie. Oh man, no Mushu? If any film needed some Eddie Murphy to lighten the mood, it's this one.
Okay, let's get this show on the road!
See? Prepare for an absolute feast for the senses, full of vibrant colors and sumptuous landscapes that will be totally wasted on your crappy TV as you soak in locations from the beautiful forests of New Zealand to some of the most stunning regions of China. Ignore that. In this gorgeously rendered cinematic experience that continues the live-action Disney tradition of being a Cliff Notes version of a story you already know.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's the Disney movie.
That's a good way to put it.
Finale. Oh, they cut that too? That's a shame. Follow Mulan as she goes undercover in the world of men.
You're a good man.
Which, as all men know, is a world of grab-ass, cuddling, and sniffing each other's necks. What? You guys don't sniff your bros too? Okay, fine. More necks for me. Oh yeah. Where this time, the entire cast is refreshingly Asian, including the exact opposite of Harvey Fierstein.
I like my women buxom.
As we watch Mulan struggle against the constraints of a sexist empire.
Learn your place.
Until she lives her truth, rises like a phoenix, and fights to preserve the same empire that oppressed her.
I didn't think about that. That is true.
Then become an official tool of that oppression.
Join our greatest decorated warriors at the Emperor's Guard.
Hashtag girl boss. Prepare for 2 hours of people talking about their chi.
The chi pervades the universe and all living things. The chi is powerful, Quadrant.
You must have chi.
Chi.
It's over 9,000!
While Mulan crosses swords with this Inigo Montoya wannabe.
In honor of my father, this is where you will die.
And this awesome bird lady. Whose unique perspective on the nexus of power and womanhood is way too nuanced to survive the movie. But hey, this is a war film at its heart. People are gonna die, and most of them thanks to Mulan.
Those count as kills?
Kill? I don't know about that.
That's generous.
I want it in any game.
So saddle up with Disney's latest live-action remake that tries to be a fantasy kung fu movie, a war epic, a fun kids flick, and an ode to female empowerment, yet doesn't explore any one of those lanes deeply enough to be satisfying. But hey, at least it went over well in China, right? Wasn't that the point? Oh, come on, Disney. How do you get out-pandered by Michael Bay? Now this is a master at work.
We gotta call the central government for help.
Damn.
Starring Ming Na. Now that's what I call music. Sword Art Offline. Chai Curious. Nick, Schmidt, and Winston. Falcon Punch. You can die a hero, or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
Wow.
2 lawns? Yes, a tiny net is a death sentence. And a gender reveal party.
God damn.
Oh.
Is that a global joke? The gender reveal party?
I know, right? I don't know.
the Emperor's new dude.
This was good.
Only one of the four writers in this was a man, and I'll bet it was his idea for Mulan to let her hair down before a fight. The puns are strategic, dude.
Wow,
that is full of a lot, isn't it?
Yeah, that was one of the best honest trailers I've seen in some time, actually.
I
was
enjoyed
really,
it.
really good. I love John Bailey's voice. John Bailey's a friend of mine. He's the one that does the honest trailer voice. He surprises me every now and then because he'll do this other voice. I'm like, I didn't know he could do that voice. You know, because at the
What
very
other
beginning,
voice?
he did the video on demand voice at the very beginning.
I couldn't even pick those apart.
Look,
All new reimagining of premium VOD pricing strategies to service
Same
an
guy.
evolving consumer dynamic.
yeah, that's him.
Okay.
He's a very talented dude. I thought what they pointed out was actually very strong. This is a very easy movie to pick on, though.
It is.
It's a gold mine for jokes, is the thing. Like, they just messed up so many things along the way. And it's like, how did you mess that up? Like, how? And the way they put it with it being a Cliff Notes version of the cartoon,
I completely agree.
like, that perfectly epitomizes everything wrong with the Disney movies so far.
Anytime you take something animated
Mm-hmm.
and you try to make it live action, there's just some things you can do with the animation you can't do the same with live action. So by definition, it can't be like the live action animate version of the animation. Like
Right.
it has to be a different animal. And I
Right.
think he hit the nail on the head at the end when he was like, it's trying to be a kids movie and it's trying to be a Chinese fantasy movie. It was. It's trying to. I couldn't understand the tone. I was like, oh, the director's all over the place with their tone. You know, there's a moment at the very end when Mulan comes back, talking about the movie now, not this. Mulan comes back and kind of sets things right with her dad. The matchmaker, she goes, oh, and she like kind of like faints backwards a little bit, and then this quick push in with the camera. I was like, that was a moment straight out of that Baz Luhrmann movie. There's no other moment in the whole movie like that. And just something like that changed the tone for me so much and threw me off.
Yeah, it's very inconsistent.
Yeah, it was hard to buy the funny things. It was hard to buy the really deep, realistic, heartfelt things at times. Yeah, I was thrown all over the place. But then I also spoke to people who just loved it.
Were they
And
Asian?
the people who just loved it?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
And I also had an issue with all the different accents, the different Asian accents.
Well, most people don't
White
know.
people do it all the time in
Yeah.
English movies, and you know,
Yeah.
throw an English accent on it, and it's foreign to us Americans.
So you have a hodgepodge here of different Asian accents, which is exactly what they did years ago with Memoirs of a Geisha. You know, you had Chinese actresses playing Japanese characters, which pissed off the Japanese and the Chinese alike. So it's just like, what are you trying to do? Steve Tirado was in that.
Yeah.
With Memoirs of
yeah.
a Geisha. But anyway, yeah. So back to this. It's just a mess. When I watched it at the end, like I told you when we were working out, I just had no feeling, nothing for it at the end.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I will say this. I'm partial to the story, not just out of a sense of nostalgia, like it's an old Disney movie that I grew up with, just like who I am and what she battles, I feel like I battle internally too. So I'm partial to that. So I forgave a lot of things, and I still cried like 5 times. Like ugly crying.
Okay.
And I'm not much of a critic. Usually with things, I'm like, I just liked it. Knowing you, I've become more of a critic. And growing up a little bit.
Yeah. I'm becoming an adult. Like
I
a full-grown
still was entertained.
Yeah.
And like I said, the second time I liked it better. I think because I identified the things I didn't like, forgave it, and then could just enjoy it.
Right. With regards to the Honest Trailers review, I thought that they had a lot of good puns, a lot of good jokes on this. There were things they pointed out I didn't even consider. Mainly, the biggest thing they pointed out that surprised me was how Mulan was used as an accessory to defend the thing that oppressed her. That surprised me. And there was no discussion of, we're gonna change this whole thing. Like, they really made a point to do that in Aladdin. There was a whole section about that in Aladdin. Did
I
you
didn't
see
see that.
Oh my God, you were so lucky that you didn't see that. I hated that movie so hard. I'm sure there's a lot of people watching this that enjoyed Aladdin. I literally wanted to walk out in the first 10 minutes. I was so upset with it.
Why?
Because of the very thing they pointed out here, which is it just was an immediate Cliff Notes version of the cartoon. Like, oh, did you like the cartoon? Well, here's a short version of the cartoon in live action form with a bunch of other junk added in there. We're gonna make the Sultan not, happy and, goofy. He's gonna be a very grounded Sultan now for some apparent reason. Jafar, instead of looking like an old twirly mustache guy, he's gonna look really young. And why? Like, why is he so, it's like, and there were songs that were added in there and I'm like, okay, you're kind of like shoehorning in this. I don't have a problem with female power. I'm all for it. I've been watching
You enjoy it.
Chinese action films since I was a
Yeah.
kid. Like you watch Michelle Yeoh. I grew up watching her, and there was a movie she did with Anita Mui, I think Maggie Chung, and I can't remember the name of it for the life of me, but it was the 3 of them, the Heroic Trio. That's the name of the movie. It's 3 female superheroes, basically, kicking ass. It's a bloody good time. So I'm all for it. But when you shoehorn it into a film, the movie's called Aladdin. And so in the middle of it, they had this whole thing about Jasmine singing about how she won't be oppressed. And I'm like, what? And then 2 seconds later, she's oppressed right after singing that song. And the whole thing was like undoing the power that men hold and whatever. And like, there's a whole other plot that they added into the film. They gave you a Cliff Notes version of the movie and then added in female power on top of it because that's what's cool right now.
Because it's trying to be relevant.
It's trending. It's like, don't do that. Tell a good story. Like, I'm all for female power, but tell a good story. Start with that.
Or if you want to tell the female empowerment side of it, rewrite Aladdin.
Right, exactly. I just don't think that should be Aladdin, like, personally. Like, that's not...
Call it Jasmine.
Yeah, exactly. I would have been fine with that. Actually, I would have been fine with that. You obviously are familiar with Hamlet. And I remember in high school, I don't know if this is like a play that's been out there, but in high school, students that were at the school decided to take the story of Ophelia, make a play about her. And I thought that was an interesting twist on it, like looking at it from her perspective. Originally, the Robin Hood film with Russell Crowe, directed by Ridley Scott, it was supposed to be Sheriff of Nottingwood, or Sheriff of Nottingham? I forget, whatever. It was supposed to be about the sheriff. And then when Ridley Scott got his hands on it, he made it about Robin Hood again, which is stupid. But like, that's a cool spin, like the idea of it being about Jasmine instead. Anyway, we're getting off track here. All I'm trying to say is, this movie sucked.
I don't think this movie sucked.
It was so bad. It was so bad. There was no human spirit in there. They took everything lovely about the cartoon, got rid of it, and then they had this thing here, which, anyway.
I will say though that the individual performances out of context of the movie I thought were good. Like, they all held their own. Everything coming together didn't
It didn't
deliver anything.
Yeah, it didn't coalesce properly. It had all the markings, of a good movie, of a good martial arts action film, but ultimately it just didn't quite stick the landing. So it missed it by about 4 miles.
Out of how many? Like, what's the
4.5.
That's not so bad. That's not so bad.
It got half a mile and
I was thinking the other way around. Okay, got you. But as far as this trailer goes, loved it.
I love the little Dragon Ball Z reference. I thought that was cute. Anyways, you guys, thanks so much for hanging out with us. Thank you, Screen Junkies, for allowing us to react to this. Very, very much appreciated. Be sure to check out Melee, Megan Lay, on the social media. Subscribe if you haven't already. Hit that bell icon. All notifications, please. I'm Jaby Koay. This is
Megan Lay.
Peace out.